Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and today is New Comic Book Day. I got lots of awesome things to show you, but quickly before we get into that, let me quickly tell you about my giveaway. At 600 subscribers, I am giving away 3 awesome comics. All you have to do is leave a comment on this video, or any of my videos. Each video you leave a comment on will enter you into a chance to win one of these 3 comics. All you have to do, like I said, leave a comment, be subscribed, and, just talk to me about some comics. That's really all it is. I'm just, trying to build a cool community where we're just having fun and talking about the things we enjoy. And then I'll give you some free things for it. So let's go ahead and get into today's books. We have Demon Days, Rising Storm. No secret here on this channel, I'm a big fan of Momoko. I'm a big fan of this Demon Days story that she's been doing. In this issue in particular, it was pretty interesting because we get a little bit more backstory and a little bit more knowledge of the goals and aspirations of specifically the villain. Mariko as well as a little bit as well, but it was interesting to learn about the villain in this issue. Now this one, let me show off the variant that I did pick up. I thought it was a pretty cool cover. Don't recall the artist, but got Storm and Thor there, which are the 2 new characters introduced in this one. In this Demon Day stuff, she takes the characters, different ones that you're familiar with, but presents them in a completely new light. In this case, they're kind of inspired by the Japanese gods for thunder and wind, Raijin and Fuijin. I think that's how you say their names. I'm probably wrong. But I thought it was a pretty interesting take, and especially if you're going to take 2 Marvel characters, which, Thor is often, very often referred to as a god. Storm, sometimes referred to as a god, but they work very well in those 2 roles. That having these 2 characters did lend to a lot of cool opportunities in the artwork when they're fighting and showing off their powers and stuff, when you're doing a lot of stuff with wind and lightning and cool effects like that. I thought, I bought a lot of covers that are just because they're Momoko covers, so obviously I really like it when it's a full book of Momoko artwork. I still don't think it's her best work. I think it was Demon Days Mariko, which was my favorite issue. I thought had a lot of really interesting interior work, which a lot of people, they always say that she's just like anime. I think, honestly, she pulls a lot more traditional Japanese styles. Now, granted, there's more modern anime kind of style to it as well, but I think there's a lot of traditional Japanese influence in her work as well, and a lot of traditional Japanese in her storytelling as well. Like I said, she took Thor and Storm Thor and Storm and really based them off of Fuijin and Raijin, which I thought were pretty interesting characters to add into the story. I'm excited. There's only one more. I am very excited to see where that will go and how it will conclude. Moving on to Hulk number 2. Also, no secret on the channel here. Big fan of Donny Cates. I think he's doing just absolutely great work on this. And which is funny because when I first saw this cover, I was kind of whatever on it. But now knowing the story and what's going on about how... because it was kind of weird at first when they said that Bruce Banner turned Hulk into a spaceship. Or... it was how I explained it, and it's like... I don't know if that makes sense, but the more, especially in getting into the second issue, I see how that's set up, and I think it's just such an interesting way, and that's what's cool about this cover, is you get to see Bruce Banner there. It's like the pilot, and it is a pretty cool cover. I do really like it a lot now that I'm more into the story and understand what's going on. But I think Donny Cates has done a great job as taking, because at the core of this story so far, it's still the age-old internal struggle of Banner versus Hulk. And, but I feel like he's done a really good job at presenting this in a new way. Banner seems a tad more, I don't want to say villainous, but he's definitely pushing the limit, pushing the edge. and he's doing some things that I don't think will end well necessarily for him, but I'm excited to see how it's going to go. Classic Donny Cates. There's a big reveal at the last page of this book. You know Donny Cates. That's how he loves to do it. I mean, a lot of other people do it too, but I feel like he's always doing it. Pretty awesome series. I mean, if you haven't hopped on already, we're only 2 issues in. It's pretty solid. I really highly recommend it. I'm curious. I'm just really curious how it's gonna go. I think, and again with Donny Cates, there's gonna be some crazy cool new character introduced somewhere in here. I don't know for sure, but somewhere along the line. Next book we have is Wastelanders Wolverine. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it's like on the second page of Hulk here. There was a scene with like a lot of blood. And I was going to say about this one too, not a lot of blood, but there was a decent amount of blood in this issue, which you like to see in stuff where it's applicable, So when, when some random, punks run up on Wolverine and try to rob him, you want to see them cut their arms and heads and stuff off, So it's really nice when you do actually get to see it. A lot of times I feel like maybe it's only alluded to, but you actually get to see not quite, I mean, it's not like a lot, there's more to this issue than that. But especially, because these are kind of aimed at kids still, but, it's nice when you get to see some carnage and, let them loose. I wasn't too sure how these little Wastelanders were going to do. I don't know exactly for all of them. I know this one takes place, a bit after Old Man Logan, I believe. I haven't read the full entirety of Old Man Logan, so I could be wrong. But basically, he's taking care of Baby Hulk. And, it's just kind of, he's wandering around, trying to find food and shelter and stuff. And comes across a new but familiar enemy in a new and unexpected way that I wasn't quite expecting. Duh. I wasn't expecting the thing I didn't expect. But I thought it was a pretty interesting issue. I like that this is a meaner Logan. He's lived a rough life of just everything is always going bad for him, and especially the ending of this book I thought was super solid. He's not a nice guy right now. I mean, he's a good guy because he's taking care of the Baby Hulk, and that's part of it too. Is throughout the whole issue, starting at the beginning. He's kind of, like I say, he's wandering around with the Baby Hulk, and he's like, man, should I just kill this child? Basically. He's like, is he going to grow up to be a problem? He's like, I don't know. Maybe now's the time to take him out when it's easy. But, he's still got a good heart. But he's a little ruthless. And so starting off with this Wastelanders, pretty solid issue. I really liked it. Next issue coming out is Hawkeye. And I'm excited for that. I did read all of Old Man Hawkeye. It's a pretty short little read. A lot of fun, though. Then we have Strange Academy number 14, which is supposed to be like a time jump in this issue, because it does say the future of the Strange Academy. I need to read this series. Just it's one of those things. And I just read The Me You Love in the Dark. I finished that series not too long ago, and honestly probably one of my favorite comics I've ever read. It was really, really good. I just need to hop on this. I have the full series. I just need to do it. Part of it is I have a feeling I will really like it, and when that happens, that means I have to go out and buy the first print #1, and also probably the Momoko variant #1, and those are both expensive books. So I don't know. Here I am. I don't know what's going on, but I'm picking it all up. I am going to read it at some point, hopefully soon. Before we go into the next section, quick reminder that we will be streaming tonight every Wednesday. We're streaming from 8 to around 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Gonna be building some Legos, talking about, new comics of the week, or just comics in general. Maybe a little bit of comic news here and there and stuff like that. Do keep in mind, for not only tonight, but just moving forward, don't talk about no Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers yet. Especially, I won't be seeing it until Sunday. So don't you say a word about it. Don't you send me a message about it until then. Until after then. You can talk to me about it on Monday, okay? I'm going to see it Sunday night. So, but definitely come hang out. Our first stream last week was a lot of fun. It's always kind of iffy. It's like, well, I don't know if this is a good time for people. Is anybody going to show up? This and that, whatever. And it was the whole time we had quite a few people, and I had a lot of fun, and I hope you all did too. And we're gonna go ahead and move on into Star Wars books now. I think it's only 2 this week. We have High Republic number 12. Fun little fact here: you got Lorna D on the cover. She snagged that lightsaber in the last issue, but she's not in this issue. So she's mentioned, she's talked about a lot in this. This issue has more to do with kind of the internal struggles of the Jedi. There's a lot of internal conflict and tensions built up as things aren't necessarily going their way. I think in the preview book there's a cover. They show off all the covers and stuff ahead of time, and it's basically an homage to the first cover with the big space station Starlight Beacon, I think is what it's called, except for it's exploding now. So I feel like we're going down this path of kind of the failings of the Jedi, and I think it's pretty interesting. For this series in particular, I kind of didn't really like at the beginning when they were dealing with the Drengir, but when they switched off of that and started dealing with the Nihil, I don't know if I said either of those villains' names right, but I've enjoyed it quite a bit more, and I thought it's been pretty good so far. Not that I hated the beginning either. It's like, I'm kind of tired of this plant monster thing. And then moving on to High Republic Adventures, this is the annual. I was a little bummed out when I found out that most of these characters aren't like the main characters from High Republic Adventures, mainly because I have, especially the last 2 or 3 issues, I've really been enjoying sticking with those characters. I think it was like the first maybe 4 or 5 issues a lot. Then after that I was like, it's okay. And then, like I said, the last 2 or 3 issues have been really good. Especially, I can't remember, I think that was number 10. I thought was really, really good. This issue is a series of 5 different little mini stories. I'm a little interested because, as you can see on the cover here, right over there is Lorna D, I think is her name. That's the same chick that's here. Even though I feel like I just said her name, now I'm not confident if that's actually how you say her name. But anyway, she is featured in one of these stories, and I'm a little confused on like the sharing rights, I guess. I don't know. It kind of feels sometimes like if you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., how Agents was trying to connect to the MCU, but the MCU did not care at all about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It kind of feels like that, where, because, the High Republic Adventures is made by IDW, while the main line is made by Marvel. So it kind of feels like IDW is trying its best to connect to the main series. And, because Lorna D showed up, I don't know how many issues that was ago now. At least 2 issues ago, I think, in the main series. So it's been long enough, maybe, that they could have quickly thrown together. And then it was a little mini story with Lorna D. She was just in 1. So maybe, I don't know. I'm really confused. That being said, the main reason it piques my interest is because, like, in one of these stories, there's a really cool Jedi that popped up. I'm like, man, it'd be cool if they introduced him again. And there's, just for all of these, I think all the characters except for her are brand new characters, if I'm not mistaken. And so I'm just curious, will these characters be used again? Was this just a little annual with some random fun stories? Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun little read. Was a little bit bummed that it didn't have anything to do with like the main characters that we're following in the High Republic Adventures. But it was a fun read. It was well written, or different writers and stuff, but everything was fine. There was only one part. There was one story that I didn't care for the art too much, but that story was pretty cool, and particularly the ending of that one. And that's probably the one. Let's see. Let me figure out which one it was. It was the 4th story. That was the only one where the ending was like, oh man, I really want to know what happens next. So I'm curious to know if they are going to do anything else with these characters, because it definitely set up something. And I don't know. I don't know if that ties to any future plans. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if IDW and Marvel like share any ideas, or like, you know, this is going to happen, or this is what's moving forward, or I don't know how much they talk, or like I said, it kind of feels like IDW is just playing catch up in some ways. I don't know. But moving on to DC books now. Only got a couple. We have Teen Titans Academy number 9 here, which I've really been enjoying the series. Other than, I don't remember the issue numbers, but there's like, I think just 2 issues dealing with Gorilla Grodd and Gorilla Greg, and some, it just felt like a random little shoot-off story, and I didn't care for that. For the most part, this series has been dealing with Red X, the mystery of who's Red X, and he's trying to liberate the new Titans, you know, the new young Titans, and I gotta say, I mean, I'm really into it. I like this mystery of who this character is. In this issue in particular, we got a little bit of blood in this issue as well. But it kind of seems like Red X is maybe almost at like a snapping point, a breaking point, you know? And I don't know, it's kind of interesting because you're getting this character development of a character that you really don't even know who he is. You know, you don't know a lot about him, but you're starting to see like the struggles and how he's trying to fight for this cause that he believes in, and in a way he feels very alone in that, and I don't know, it's a pretty cool series. I like, you know, keep pulling me along with this mystery of who Red X is. I don't know when you're going to reveal it. You know, obviously if it took like 100 issues I'd be pretty upset, but sorry about that, camera did something weird. But basically, I was just saying, I really like Teen Titans Academy. I love the mystery of who is Red X, and I can't wait to find out who it is, but at the same time, I'm enjoying not knowing. So, moving on to Harley Quinn animated number 4. Not really in love with the series at all. At best, it is okay. It really just feels almost like a copy-paste from issue to issue. It doesn't capture the same magic that the show had, where the show was really showcasing a lot of other characters, and that's kind of where the show shines, is like, you know, a lot of times the scene was stolen by Clayface or Bane or King Shark, or, you know, one of these really goofy characters just having a lot of fun with it. And this is really just, yeah, there is a lot of other characters popping up in the issue, or the issues, but it's really just about Harley and Ivy, and all that they have to offer is Ivy's like, oh, I don't know if I should have married Harley, and then Harley, you know, is sweet to her, and then, you know, then Harley does something dumb, and then Ivy's mad, and then she makes it up, and it's just been that for 4 issues. This issue was a little bit better. I didn't hate it. It's okay, you know. It's not as good as the show. I'm gonna pick up the other 2 issues probably. I'm already there, more than halfway there. So might as well. But yeah, it's fine. It's not great. If it didn't have a connection to the show, like if this was just its own Harley thing, that's what it feels like. It just feels like we're just holding space, you know. It's just some filler until the next season of the show starts up. And if they do another comic series, at least if it's, you know, by the same writer as this series, probably not going to pick it up because, yeah. And I wouldn't, you know, recommend this to other people. Even if you really did love the show, I wouldn't go out there telling people to pick it up. So take that as you will. Moving on, I only got 1 indie book this week. We got Berserker Number 6. Very cool cover on this one. I know it's kind of hard to show off these foil covers, but they are super cool. I always pick up both foil covers on Berserker. Well, this one especially is probably really hard to look at, but I will try my best. So this series has been cool. I really like it. This issue is pretty good. I feel like this issue was one of the better ones. Mainly because we did get to see a little bit of something different, because it's a little bit formulaic in the fact that it feels like we're just taking this character and we're throwing him, you know, at an army or this or that or whatever, and he fights them, he explodes, and he, excuse me, he comes out, you know, with his hair all burned off or whatever, and then he heals back up later. A little repetitive in that format. What was cool about this issue is they pair him off with I mean, he's a soldier, he's, you know, like an elite soldier or whatever, but he's still just a regular human. And so it's interesting to see, and they're like, you know, in the middle of this battlefield and everything and trying to get out alive. Well, he's trying to get out alive. The Keanu Reeves character, which I can't even remember his name. I mean, he's just Keanu Reeves. But, you know, we know he's going to be all right, but it's kind of, the suspense is more so, is the other guy going to be okay? And on top of that, their dialogue was pretty interesting because in a way they're both kind of jealous of each other, and you know, the immortal wants to die, and then the regular human is very excited to see, or you know, very jealous of someone that, you know, is just so powerful, especially, you know, and he's a soldier. So Keanu Reeves' character is basically the ultimate soldier. And so it's, I really like their conversation. My only real complaint about this series is that it's just a thin book. Like, even with these foil covers that are, you know, on the thicker cardstock, if you're holding it, it feels like a very, very thin book. I haven't counted the pages or nothing, but it does seem like the pace of the storytelling has been quite slow, and maybe if the books were thicker, we could move along a bit faster. I don't know if it's like a cash grab thing, because it's like, oh, well, we know it's, you know, because like still at the shop that I work at, it's still the number one, you know, pulled book, you know, number one book on people's pull list, you know. We order more of that than anything. I think a close second is Moon Knight. That's another popular series, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of a book for anybody, you know, whether you're Marvel, DC, this or that or whatever. This is a indie Keanu Reeves book, you know, so a lot of people were obviously interested in it, and you know, I don't know if they're kind of like, people are going to buy it anyway, whatever, we don't have to work that hard and just make it kind of shorter. I don't know if that's the case or not. That's kind of what it feels like. Maybe I'm alone in that opinion, but it just feels like it's a little short. Every issue is like, could have used a little more in that. And again, we haven't really progressed super far in 6 issues, but I don't know. That's my last book for today. Again, obviously, make sure you leave a comment. Tell me, you know, what you're reading. If you're reading the same thing, different things, whatever. Is there something I should have been reading this week? Entering that, or leaving that comment will enter you into the giveaway. Also, make sure you stop by the live stream tonight. I'd love to hang out with you. Again, it's a chill stream. We're going to be hanging out, talking about comics, building some Legos, you know. So if that sounds fun to you, stop by and say hi, even if it's just for a little bit, you know. Or you can always go back and watch the stream later. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and I will see you next time. Ha ha ha!